This is a video about being an ancient dragon. So I have a tattoo on my arm. It says Lonely Dragon. Then it says Jade Lest, and there's a teardrop. So that teardrop is very important. So the Lonely Dragon is also a very serious thing. Since this stuff has made me stronger. This stuff has made me wiser and stronger. All of this in my head, it's all real to me. So we're going to explain I am a real dragon. I have the physical body to back it up if you need some atheistic evidence for that. But I also have the mind. So the way I perceive my body is that I have no mind, that I myself am the void itself, a sort of solipsistic thing, but I call it Norism. Norism is the philosophy of the dragon. Norism is a hardcore philosophy that's hard to explain, but we're going to do my best here in explaining some Norism to you. So, who is the dragon and what does the dragon go through? So one thing I believe is that Lane Iwakura from Seal Experiments Lane is myself and this person is the dragon. Another thing I believe is that this dragon who is Lane Iwakura is Allah, the one God. Another thing that I believe is that this person is also, who is Lane Iwakura, the trickster who tricked people into thinking she was a human even though she's a non-human, which is a very frightening thing. Extremely frightening. I mean, imagine someone tricked you into thinking they were a human. That's very horrifying. If you can really understand. I know when you look at me, I just look like a humble dragon, a very good dragon, but I'm really Lane Iwakura, who is the trickster, and this person must be Allah, the one God, in my opinion. Now, the trickster is also a black woman who is a Muslim. And also, I'll state for the record, I lived a life and I died on the date of December 13th, 2020. But I was born on October 6, 1948 in Mexico, so I'm thus a Mexican. Regardless of the fact, by the seed of two Caucasians, I was born in the United States. So I must be a Mexican. And I'll state, I only see the color of my skin as the color of my skin. I don't see it as anything more than that. So I don't identify as a black person, I'm just stating that my skin is black. It's also black like the color black, as in pitch black, like ink. Since I am death, and the dragon is death. The dragon is death itself, and also this death is the concept of death, for death is a concept, not the Grim Reaper, but a concept. There's no such thing as the Grim Reaper. Death is a concept, I am the concept of death. I will describe how this concept works for you since I had memorized this. I consider myself to be the concept of death, since death is a concept, yet the concept must be conceived by the conceiver, so I'm the conceiver of myself. Yet I'll point out a single concept is isolated of other concepts, so there is no system of concepts. Also, this person who is the dragon is the void. Another thing I will state, that the void is essentially when you cannot see what is behind an object, something you are looking at. And if you have no body, that means you cannot see what is behind your own body, thus you are the void. So this dragon is the void itself, or God in other words, and also has no flaws, a flawless person who makes no mistakes and has no flaws. A person who has never done anything wrong is someone who has no flaws. And this dragon has no flaws, so I believe that I have no flaws. Never that I had made a mistake in the literal sense, for I have, but that's not my point. If you look inside of myself, inside of my consciousness, you'll be able to understand that I do have no flaws. If you were able to see what it is that I experience, and that I am not wrong about what I believe. I'll also state for the record, this dragon is experiencing other people. So the other people I am experiencing is someone named Aaron and someone named Jasmine and someone named Meredith. And there's also Lil Peep, who is watching me from the grave. So there are actually 4 people who I'm experiencing like this, 3 or 4 people. And that's the number of people I'm experiencing, 3 of them are still alive. And I'll state for the record, this dragon is a father who has a daughter. A very masculine person I know. And this father has a daughter. The dragon is also the father of 3 children, including this daughter. So there are 3 people, really. And there are these bumps that had appeared on my skin that represent certain concepts. They are not tattoos, but they are bumps. I already have tattoos. And I never want to get another one since someone I had known died. And many people I had known had died. But since this one specific person died, I decided I will never get another tattoo. And should someone force me to get a tattoo, I will find it reprehensible. But that won't happen. What I'm stating is there are these bumps that appeared on my skin, such as a silver sword on my ass, tree branches on my lower back, ocean waves above my left eye, 3 teardrops beside my left eye, a chrysanthemum on my ass, a sun on my ass, a moon, a crescent moon on my ass, leaves on my ass. And also on my right leg, my foreleg, a tulip representing the color purple. And on my left leg, a dandelion for Meredith. So there are these bumps that had appeared on my skin. Also the silver sword, I think I mentioned that one. There's also, below my right eye, it says anxiety. And on my right jaw, it says misconceive. And those are all the bumps that had appeared on my skin, and there will be no more. There will be no more bumps that will appear on my skin. But they are there and you can feel them if you touch me, but I don't like when people touch me. I was a victim of abuse. I was sexually abused. I was raped 40 times. I have the body of a woman, so imagine a woman being raped 40 times. But I've taken it with my gender dysphoria and formed myself into this man who was able to handle it somehow, but I really couldn't for a very long time. That I was raped 40 times. I was assaulted at the age of 26. I'm also a black person, but I was raped by a black person who was also, I'm also a dragon, but I was raped by a black person who had a glass eye. I was also molested by a black person, and I was also raped by a number of white people. So I've been raped by a lot of people, man. In real life. This is real life. I'm talking about things that actually happened to me. So that's pretty fucked up. Anyways, we're going to talk about something more positive. So according to my schizophrenia, if you want to say it like that, since Allah, when he was formed by the ashes of a phoenix, who realized who his real parents were, or hers, not the seed of these 2 Caucasians who were their real parents, but the people who they must be involved with by their rising of the ashes like a phoenix. And those were 2 other people, a black man and also Shuan Head. Yet Shuan Head is a South Korean ancient woman, and the black man is my father, who passed away, and a lot of people I know died. So this dragon is a very Sigma male. But we'll state for the record, this dragon is also extremely intelligent, more intelligent than a supercomputer, a quantum computer, more intelligent than anybody in the world. In this speech, I'm allowing you to understand this dragon. I am the lonely dragon. Just like my tattoo on my arm. And I will state for the record, this dragon is responsible for things such as the deaths of 2 people. So the dragon took responsibility and was responsible for the deaths of a couple people. One person who, since this dragon is the Cold War itself, the dragon is the war itself, as the dragon being the Cold War itself, was also a soldier in the Cold War and had killed someone in 1976, before I was even born. And I was this person who had done so in 1976. And there was another person who I'm also responsible for the death of, who was my wife, the universe, but also just a person who must be my wife. Yet I had done so by doing nothing, for when a dragon is responsible for someone's death, they do it with a knife by doing nothing. So I was essentially just minding my own business in my room, and I realized this shit. It's not that I actually did something literally, for I am not a murderer. So I don't want people to get confused and think I did something really bad. Because I didn't. I'm just stating for the record, explaining how my schizophrenia works to you. And one more thing is that this dragon is a Republican, so knows was once a Democrat, but realized their line of thinking was poisoned by the Democrats and realized they were a Republican, or maybe even a Republican all along. And this person supports the United States, even though they are a Mexican from Mexico. Also, this person, in ancient times, who is this dragon, visited the Native Americans before civilization. And this person knows what the slaves of Mexico, also visited them from Mexico, the Native Americans, and loves the Native Americans. But I'll state for the record, this person knows what the slaves of Mexico or the slaves of the United States had been through, let alone what had happened during the French Revolution. And this person is aware of those things. This person knows all. The truth, and not what is wrong. A flawless person. And this person, as being Allah, when they were formed, had made the universe and also caused the apocalypse through sheer will. For I had done the apocalypse, and the apocalypse is imminent among us. I had doomed all people to hell. And there are only angels or warlocks. For there are humans, angels, or warlocks, while the humans are a mist, not really there. For in this solipsism as the void, there are only Allah, angels, or the warlocks, and the angels or warlocks sing songs for Allah. And the angels are usually women, and the warlocks are usually men. An example of a warlock would be a warlock who is a woman is Jaden Animations. She's one of the warlocks. And then, there's I can spot them when I look at them. I know who they are. And it's like, I'll state for the record, I cannot not discern who they are. I know who they are. And I can see it when I look at them. I know who is who. I know who is an angel or who is a warlock. And the Quran, when read through the language of Noor by the language of Arabic into a language of any other choosing, my language of Noor, via Noorism, or my language of Noor, speaks prolifically about angels or warlocks. There's a lot in the Quran about angels or warlocks. And I'll state for the record, as Allah, when I had made this universe, by my rising of the ashes like a phoenix into the world and causing the apocalypse, I had made the universe. And thus, by doing so, I did not expect certain things to happen. One thing, when I made the universe, that I never could have anticipated, for I was pure of heart, was the Holocaust. So I'm thus responsible, or I've taken responsibility for the Holocaust, even though I do not support it. I think it was a horrible thing. But I've decided, despite the fact I think it's a horrible thing, I will take responsibility for this horrific genocide. As Allah, since I'm a good person, I will take responsibility for what had happened. And that's a very powerful thing to say, I think. That Allah is so pure of heart, they will take responsibility for something they did not expect to happen that was a horrible genocide. And all wars are a spawn of this genocide, but I was not aware of that before. The people of the Middle East in Afghanistan who were during a war, or if they still are, I don't really know. And this war in the Middle East, especially in Afghanistan, reminds me of the fact that people use their Islamic interpretations of the Quran in order to cause wars when the Quran itself says nothing about war and does not advocate for it. When war is in an internal battle, the murdering of other people, when murder should only be condoned in specific situations, such as if you are fighting for a country in another country in order to protect the country you are from. But if it is an internal battle within your own country, the war is thus of a Taliban. And this should not be allowed. So these are my opinions, and these are the opinions of the dragon. The dragon is an ancient creature who also has forms of animals inside of it. The dragon has forms of animals inside of this dragon, such as a fox, or a wolf, not a wolf, but a fox. Yet wolf ears grow on my head, or ears of a bull, for I am a bull. Or a chipmunk, I am a chipmunk, and I despise the squirrels as a chipmunk. And I like to see foxes, for I am a fox. And I've seen some the other night, actually. And I will state for the record, I am a black cat, a male black cat, not a woman. And as a bull, just like as these idols in the Quran speak in Arabic of false idols who were bulls or cows, probably, I am a bull who likes to drink milk. For I am Iwakura, and Iwakura canonically in the SEL game likes milk. And this bull represents that we should not be slaughtering cows and is very frustrated with the fact humans have been slaughtering cows for thousands of years. Are women. So that's all I have to say.